And some new fruit trees have arrived. They're going to be planted today. It's the final Friday in March, and we have some more trees to add to our fruit orchard. We have some peaches, apples, and pears to add into the different areas today. The Sabbath lunch menu for this week is a potato stew. Potatoes, peas, and tomatoes are the base of the stew. It's too thick to be a soup, so I just call it a stew. But the majority of everything going into this is from our garden. So let's take a look. This is tomato sauce, canned last year. Peas grown last year. I'm using up the last of my frozen onions instead of using the dehydrated or diced onions today. And we have garlic and herbs. And I canned these potatoes last year because I'd never canned potatoes before. I've also never cooked with canned potatoes before. So since I'm making a dish that requires cooking potatoes, I thought now would be a good opportunity to test out the canned potatoes. So I'm assuming it just means I'm going to have to cook a little less time since the potatoes have already been pre-cooked. And then I have made vegetable broth in the past, but I have not for several years. For ease of use, I just have it from the store, and a pound of pasta.
Once I put the mulch on, that's right at around the root level. So. Anti-girdling devices.
A few years ago, we lost several apple trees that were between 4 and 6 years old because a rodent had come in and chewed the base of the tree up just below the wood chip and the dirt level. So now we put those pipes on there to stop that from happening. Hi, baby girl. This yummy stew lasted us for 2 or 3 more meals even after the Sabbath lunch. I am thrilled when I can find more things to make using all products that we grew with our own hands. These are our 2 oldest peach trees. They've given us really good peaches the last 4 or 5 years, other than last year. It was cold and wet for so long in the spring that they all got some kind of fungus on them. And 2 more peach trees were put in today. The spot was cleared back a little bit earlier in the winter so we could fit in some more peach trees.
I didn't put any of the black pipe around the peaches. We haven't had any girdling issues with that. And I haven't had any with the pears here, but I didn't want to take a chance.
So the white flowering one is our Asian pear. What's the other one, a cook?
A cook pear, yep.
It's a cook pear over there. And that's just a peach further down the hill. And we really, really love the Asian pears. We've gotten good fruit off that for the last 2 years. So we went ahead and planted 2 more Asian pears, which get pollinated by the cook pear. But it will take a solid 6 or 7 years to get a decent harvest of pears from these trees. On this side of the house is our apple section, and 2 more were added today. We have 1 more apple up by the front peaches also. There's a Liberty up front there. What were these 2 apple types that you planted?
These are Enterprise, I believe. Yeah, Enterprise. Good disease resistance and good growth all around. That one on the right in the back this will be its 3rd spring. And
That's an Enterprise also.
Yeah, and we had 4 apples on it last year, which was only its 2nd year.
So what are the other 3 apple trees?
So the one in the back there on the left is a Freedom apple, and that's supposed to have good disease resistance, but it still doesn't do well with the cedar apple rust. The one right there, like we talked about, the one in the back is an Enterprise, and then back there, and then
Enterprise.
This one here is a Wolf River tree, kind of an older variety.
Why'd you pick that one?
They're supposed to be super large, but they're also decent with disease resistance, which is kind of the big thing here.
And this is the one you have different
Golden
types.
Delicious. It's completely disease ridden every year, but it's a great pollinator. So after the blooms and everything are off, the leaves start to rust. But it does a good job. It does its job, and it does make apples every year. It just struggles.
That's the one that you put some grafts on.
Right. Yeah, that's actually a Liberty graft on this tree. So you can see the rest of the tree isn't. Man, that's a lot of wind. You can see the rest of the tree hardly has any leaves on it, but the graft does because Liberty actually blooms earlier.
It is Friday afternoon, just after 3 p.m. We just finished lunch. My onion plants had been delivered. This is not how I wanted to spend my hours after lunch today. You're going to think I'm joking, but my plans this afternoon were to be at my desk, getting that cleaned off and closing out my March budget. And I really love doing that. I love numbers. I love spreadsheets. So as much as I love the garden, I love spreadsheets just a little bit more. So I really wanted to do that, but I'll end up doing that Sunday instead because this afternoon I want to get all these onions planted. It's a good thing I got the cages ready 2 days ago and I know where I'm planting the majority of the onions. I'm gonna put in my earbuds and probably listen to Really Very Crunchy Mom's audiobook. I bought that last week and I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet, so I'll be listening to that while I'm planting onions. See you on the other side. Don't mind me, I am just making a visual note to self of where I planted the Valencias because I'm sure I will forget by the time the onions are ready to harvest. Interestingly, I ordered somehow exactly enough onions to completely fill this bed. I could have fit 2 more onions in and that was it. You saw the first 3 sections on this side are Valencia. I'm not sure how well they're due here. I don't think we can grow long day onions in Virginia, so we will find out this year if they bulb or not. And then the whole rest of the row, I don't remember if I'm going to say the name right. I don't know. You saw it, but they're the red onions, generic purple. And this entire side here is all candy onions. They are hybrids, but my husband loves sweet onions and I'm going to try those out for him this year. I did not use any fertilizer on the candy onion side, and I did put fertilizer on the other side. All right, between wind. I just dug a little ditch kind of following the garden hose on this side and put the fertilizer in there and covered it up. I did not follow the directions or how anyone would tell you to plant onions. And this year I did them all pretty separately, around 4 inches apart each. Some of them might have more like 6 inches. So this is not as many onions as I usually grow. So I'll have to be more particular about taking care and preserving these and not losing too many once I harvest them. Did I mention we have lots of lizards here? I'm watering my seeded flowers and noticed these 2. If you are viewing from the Northern Hemisphere, I hope you are enjoying the new life and the energy that comes from the changing into spring. I hope that you don't have pollen allergies too badly. The pollinating is happening now in April. And as the world continues to tell you what you should be worrying about and what you should be scared of, I hope that you have found active, busy things to do with your hands and that you're doing what you can control and you're taking care of those things. Remember that our Creator God knows the end from the beginning. He is trustworthy, and you can trust Him with your life and the lives of your loved ones. And no matter what circumstances are going on around you, you can choose to live joyfully.